In this video, I'll be addressing the transverse abdominis muscle. The transverse abdominis muscle is the innermost abdominal muscle, which actually wraps around the abs as well as the lower back, and really acts almost like a tightening belt or a compression belt to really help in the stabilization of the movements of the trunk. So the TA, as you can call it for short, is a really underrated muscle. And for the reasons I just mentioned, is oftentimes we're focusing on the abs, but not really those deep stabilizer muscles, which can provide a lot of benefits in terms of balance. So activating the transverse abdominal muscle is actually a little bit more difficult than people think, because it often gets lost within the other muscles that are working as we're doing exercises for the core. So in this video, I'm going to teach you how to begin activating or engaging the transverse abdominis, as well as beginning to strengthen it. For all these exercises, you can choose to do them on a bed. It might actually be more comfortable, but for the purpose of this video, I'll be doing them on the mat. I'm going to start off by laying down. I also have a pillow behind me just for some extra comfort. So first things first, to activate the transverse abdominis, we're going to start by bringing the belly button towards the spine. So sucking in the stomach a little bit, not too much, but really sucking it in and feeling that muscle engage underneath there. You can also place 2 fingers in this region, and you should be able to feel the muscle activating as you draw your belly button in towards your spine. So the first thing, or the first exercise we're going to do is keeping that belly button tucked and then taking some deep breaths. So as I breathe in, my stomach is still tucked the entire time. So even as I exhale, I'm not releasing, so I'm not pushing my stomach out like most people do during a regular breath. I really want to keep the stomach tucked in the entire time. So even just this, breathing with a tucked in stomach, is a little bit challenging and may require some practice. As you do this, you should be feeling a bit of an activation from the core, but also all the way out into the lower back, since like I said, that muscle really wraps around the whole core. So once you feel comfortable with holding your stomach tucked in as you're taking deep breaths, you can move on to the same thing with a little bit of added progression. So as I continue to breathe with my stomach tucked in, you start doing a few basic, very fine exercises to start engaging the core. So I'm starting with some basic leg lifts. Now these are all going to be very fine movements, and the goal for an exercise like this is not to have a big burn in the stomach or do a lot of reps. It's really to work the mind-muscle connection and begin developing some more control for that TA. From there, we can do some leg lifts as well. Keeping my belly button sucked in towards my spine the entire time. And finishing off with a few more deep breaths. The transverse abdominis is a very underrated, underappreciated muscle. So doing exercises or activation exercises like this, I think can be beneficial for anybody, no matter your level of fitness or your age. So give these exercises or these activation exercises a try and work your way from there. So like I said, these should not be stressing or stressful exercises that put a lot of pressure on the core, on the lower back, or anything like that. It's really fine movements to begin working very slowly the transverse abdominis.